So that's the first question you got to ask yourself. And that's the only question you're going to ask yourself, about the brand that you're working with, or about even your personal brand. The next two questions are about your audience, your community, or your target audience. I already said audience. So nice, I'm going to say it twice. But we are on social media, not to create content for ourselves, and that's what happens when we just talk about the sandwich. We're here to create content so that the audience will engage, right? So we're creating for them, and we need to understand what they get out of social media in the first place. If we don't understand that, we'll just always be creating content that we'll just like ourselves. No one else will like. So the two questions I've got for this part, the first one is, well, what type of content is your community enjoying already? If you know your target audience, and if you know where they hang out, and you know what kind of content they consume, go watch those. Go take notes as to how certain creators are telling their stories, and find the ones that you can apply to your brand, and really take notes as to how you can apply it for yourself. I find social media content to be a bit like a language, right? There are going to be waves. Do you guys remember when all the memes first came out, and it was like a single picture, and it was like blocky text, right? And then now evolved to, let's say, TikTok videos, where it has a certain way of aesthetics. To me, this is all an evolving language, and we need to kind of keep up with it. And if you don't understand how to speak their language, it's going to be hard to be able to communicate with people, right? The second thing to ask is, well, what feelings do you want to leave your community? How do you want them to feel after they they saw a piece of your content? How do you want them to feel after they engage with you on social media? Let's go back to Pret. This was back in 2016, 2017, so it's a little dated. But back then, text and image inspirational stories were popular. I'm talking about like stuff like Humans of New York, if you guys remember that. Overhead recipes videos were huge. We got tasty videos everywhere, right? And the feelings that we wanted to leave people were feelings of just being joyful, being excited for new products, and overall uplifting, because we're always doing the right thing. And so this is the result of some of the content, right? If you look at, when we were talking about new products, we really leaned in on language that was about inciting excitement, right? We threw in emojis that kind of just like lean towards that. We had photography that brought out the joy and the happiness that we want you to feel from the products. We started sharing content from successful candidates from the Pret Foundation as part of Human Stories, to bring out the always doing good things or doing the right things part. And we also started testing out recipe videos as well. And we worked with Bosch to create a video for one of the first vegan recipes. So we were always looking for how the internet and social media was communicating, and we're evolving with that. And you have to be constantly looking through that. And if I were doing content now for Pret, no one here from Pret, right? Ah, dang. Anyways, if I was doing content here now for Pret, I would look at a lot of TikTok videos. You've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got YouTube that have a version of TikTok on their apps now. That's a sign of where things are going, and we can't ignore that anymore, right? The amount of times that I've heard like, oh no, TikTok's for kids. It's not anymore. It's really going towards here, and the language is changing. We need to change with that, and we need to be able to pick up, how people are communicating. Stuff like overlay text, stuff like voiceovers, robotic voiceovers, stuff like replying to a comment with a video. Those are things that you need to keep in check, and you have to think about how you can apply that to your brand, right? Play around with it. Play around with it in your own personal account. That's your testing ground. And when you figured out exactly what to do, you can just apply that to the brand.